Good evening, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Live and Conversation. My name is Daphnée Antoine, with my lovely co-host, attorney Daphnée Camilien. Hey, Daphne.
Hello, hello, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday indeed. And welcome to all of you watching us. We appreciate it. We are live every Wednesday to show information that can help us thrive.
We have visitors that can help us thrive and learn.
Indeed.
So I will use this time to do our disclaimer.
Awesome.
Um, I am an attorney. Daphnée René is a financial entrepreneur. The information you're going to learn for entertainment purposes and information purposes only. The information I give out tonight does not establish any type of attorney-client privilege or relationship, and the information that Renee talks about does not establish any type of financial instruction or financial partnership with her, as far as fiduciary duties or anything of that sort. Back to you, Renee.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that indeed. So today's show, as some of you may see in our description, we are here to discuss the guidelines in respect to the temporary protected status that has been granted to Haitian migrants. Of course, it had been granted to many different migrants, but we will focus on Haitian migrants. In addition to that, Attorney Camillion will also be discussing some of the do's and don'ts of advanced parole. And for some of us who may not exactly know what that is, she will be more than happy to share that. So come on in if you know someone who may need this information, or maybe want to speak to an attorney, obviously as general information, may have some general question, definitely have them share this live with them so that we can maybe educate more people and spread this knowledge to more people. So that's my little speech. So please share, comment, and any question, feel free to put it in the comment. I'll have Attorney Chameleon maybe do a little Q&A with those questions. Awesome. So it's the ball is in your court, Attorney Chameleon.
Yeah, so TPS, which stands for Temporary Protected Status, was granted to people of Haitian descent, people from Haiti, on May 22nd. But we've been waiting for the guidelines all this time. And so the guidelines were released, and guidelines just mean like what are the rules, who qualifies for it, and they were just released on August 3rd, right? And so one of the things that people have to know is if you were one of the guidelines is as of July 29th, 2021, you had to have had continuous residence in the United States, right? Meaning you had to, like, where were you living? You had to have been here. Where were you residing, right? And then as of, so this might be a little bit confusing. The other one is continuous physical presence, right? So the next criteria is as of August 3rd, 2021, you had to have physical presence, right? You physically had to have been in the United States as of August 3rd, right? So that's something to consider. The other thing is going to be what do you need to qualify, right? Well, you have to prove that you have to first have some type of identification showing who you are, like, and what's your, like your background, meaning that, like, for most people, it's going to be a Haitian passport, right? So if you have a Haitian passport, whether it's expired or not, that will can be considered a part of identification. The other one that people are going to use for continuous presence is the I-94, right? That's something people can pull offline, but it just shows like what date they entered. They need to know what date you entered into the United States. If you don't have what they call I-94, a lot of times they have a travel history. U.S. government keeps a travel history. So when you came here, for example, on a visitor visa, your passport would have been stamped. Most people are going to be in this category. If you're not in this category, it doesn't mean you can't qualify. You can still qualify for TPS. You're going to have to do other things, but you're still going to have to qualify. You still will qualify. And then, what was to say? And then the other biggest thing is the continuous presence, right? How can you prove that you've been here for so long? And so if you have, you can do that by bills. If you have a cell phone, if you've gone to the doctor's office, let's say you came in 2018 and you've gone to the doctor's office, right? And you have some type of bill that will show that you've been here. If you have a cell phone, right? Even if you have a prepaid or you have a regular phone, if you know a bill for that. If you have a bank account, right? That shows continuous presence. If you're living in an apartment and you have a lease that has your name on it, so anything that has your name on it that can show, that has a date on it, that can show that you were here. If you're in school, a school schedule, there's a lot of things that you can do. If you have children, right, and you have their schedules, you know, anything with your name, any mail that says to the parents of Susie, you know, so things, those are examples. If you have absolutely nothing, I would say you have to get letters. You have to have something or it's not going to, you know, you have to show your presence. So I would say get letters, right? So if you go to church, maybe get a letter from your pastor. If you know somebody, you know, your neighbor, if you're staying with somebody, get them to write you a letter saying that they've known that, you know, they know you, you've been in the country since, you know, 2000, you know, they met you, you know, in 2019, you've been in the country since you've known them ever since then. And, you know, they have to say how they know you and how long they've known you. Right. So, you know, things of that nature, but that's, if you have nothing at all, you need to have some letters that say it. Did you want to say, have any questions? Oh, you're on mute. So you said you have no questions? I'm reading your lips. You're on mute.
No question as of yet.
Okay.
So just for those of you who's joining now, I am live in conversation with attorney Daphnée Camilien, where we are live every Wednesday to share information to help us thrive. So today our conversation is regarding the guidelines for Haitian migrants with respect to the temporary protected status. So come on in, join us, share this live so that more people can have this information. And if somebody have any, maybe some general question that attorney Camilien can answer for them, let them know we are live and we are here for them. Okay. So yeah, back to you, attorney Camilien.
Yeah. So the next thing is, so, you know, I've been talking about TPS a little bit, and I know some people may have a question about fees, right? Does it cost to file for TPS? There's a filing fee, right? The application you can download from uscis.gov. You can download that application, but there's an actual filing fee, and it varies, right? It depends on your age. If it's someone who's under the age of 14, they have a fee. If there's someone, they have a different fee for someone who's 14 to 66, I believe. They have a different fee. If you're older, 66 and above, you have a different fee. So, and then also, so I would tell people that they need to figure out what category they're in and then figure out the fee. The most common category is going to be 14 to, I believe it's I want to say 65, 14 to 65 for people who are filing for TPS, which stands for temporary protected status. And they're also at the same time going to file their work authorization, right? So those people, if this is their very first time, and so if you've already had TPS, right, that's another different fee, right? Because you're just renewing it. But if this is your very first time having TPS, it's I believe $545 right now, $545 to file the fee. To file, the applications. And it's the two applications, which is the work authorization and the actual TPS application, right? I do say a couple of things. If you are interested in getting a waiver for the fee, right? So some people, you know, obviously, you know, can't afford to pay for it, right? You're going to have to, you can file a waiver with your applications. They will ask you if you're on any type of, so it's a tricky thing because if you're on any type of government assistance, which you're not really supposed to be because you're not eligible. But if you're receiving any type of assistance, if you can show You have to show that you can't afford to pay for it, right? So it's you have to be strategic, but you would have to show that you can't pay for the application. If you're in that type of situation, then, and everybody's different, right? You may have a pending asylum case and you may have been working, right? But you can show that you can show your check stubs, and so you may have had work authorization before, and so you can show your check, but you want to get TPS for your as an added protection, and as you're eligible for it, you should get TPS. That would be a different fee. But if you didn't want to pay for the application fee, you could see if you could waive it. So there's just different situations. The thing that you should take into account, if you file a waiver, which is another application, right? So you'd file your work authorization, your TPS, and the waiver. If you file the waiver and the waiver is denied, right? They're gonna tell you it's denied. You have to do the whole thing over again. And so you need to keep a copy of your application so you're not redoing everything. But you'd have to do it over again, and then you'd have to send it in with the fee. So you'd have to keep that in mind. And then, so that would be the only thing I would talk. I would say just be careful. Whatever information that you submit to immigration, you need to make sure you keep a copy of it. I can't stress that enough. The minute you do anything with immigration, they have a file on you. And every single time that you do make any contact with immigration, with a new application, with anything, they are comparing it to your file. So you need to make sure you know exactly what you are stating when you say it's immigration. It's too important. And so you need to make sure you keep a file and keep a copy of whatever you submit, so that you can help yourself for the future. Any questions, Renee? No? Take a pause.
Yeah, so I do have a question. You mentioned how if somebody needs a waiver, and then if they are on maybe government assistance, and then you also said that technically you should not be on government assistance. So what would you say is the repercussion for someone who's applying for government assistance?
So you're not so under the past administration, under the Trump administration, those people would be barred from later on getting a green card in the future, right? But they took some of those things away under Biden's administration. But it's not to say later in the future, if applications change and things change, and if it's 10, 15 years down the line, you're in a position to become a citizen, it could affect you. You have to be very careful. You just have to be very careful. But you have to show that you have, if you got here 3 months ago, you don't have, and you're living with someone, you might not have, obviously you don't have a job. So, you might not have the funds to do it. So you'd have to say that, but you might not have the evidence that they're asking for. So that's what I'm saying. They're asking for specific evidence to show that you can't pay, and you might not have it. So just keep that in mind. So it's 50-50. It's 50-50. It's not impossible. People get it all. People do get it. So that's what I'm saying. But you just understand that if you are denied, nothing happens to you if you're denied, but that you have to redo it. So if it takes, I tell people to go ahead and do their TPS now, right? So within the next couple of weeks, it's open, and it's open from August 3rd, 2021 to February 23rd, I believe, 2022. You can do your application. However, most people want to start working and doing stuff. So you don't know how long it's going to take to process your application. You hope it's immediate. Some people, when DACA first opened, people were getting approved, within weeks, right? And then now it's slowed down. So I'm hearing cases where it's slowed down. So you don't want to wait 6 months, apply, and then TPS is only good for 12 more months. And then now you only have, you had to wait 3 or 4 months. And then now you only have a couple months to actually work. So I would just tell people to kind of start at least look into the applications and start getting themselves prepared.
So, in regards to advanced parole, so
Right.
let's talk a little bit about that. For people who may have question about that, I know I spoke with someone recently about it.
Mhm.
Some clarity and some advice for people who may consider that. So exactly, for those of you watching, we just spoke about the guidelines for TPS. You can always go back to the live and get that information. And so right now we're just gonna be briefly discussing advanced parole. So kindly share this information if you have any question, let us know. Tony Camillen can definitely answer some questions live, and then share with your friend. So please share with us about advanced parole, what it is, and what's the do's and don't of it.
Yeah, so advanced parole is a travel document that that allows a person who's in the United States, who's a non-citizen, and doesn't have a green card, to travel to another country, right? And to temporary travel to another country and to be allowed back into the U.S., right? Even though their immigration status might be pending. So advanced parole, and so for people who want to do TPS, they need to keep some things in mind. TPS stands for temporary protected status, and the protected status is from your home country is because there is either some type of war or some type of humanitarian issue or some type of natural disaster that makes it difficult for a person to go back to their home country. So if a person who's on TPS is seeking to go back to their home country, they should, depending on what other stuff they have going on, as far as what other immigration things they have going on, they have to take that into account. When you go to, let's say you want to go back to your home country, and you have to state to immigration the reason why you're going back, and it may or may not be approved. But remember, I told you immigration keeps a file, so that will be in your file, and you have to keep that in mind. And the other thing that's important is that if you're here on an overstay, you overstayed your visitor visa and you're going back, and you're trying to go back for an emergency purpose, that you're different from someone, for example, who may have come here, filed for asylum, and is also trying to get temporary protected status, and also get this advanced parole. So what people should know is even if USCIS approves your travel document, if you're in a situation for advanced parole, they approve it, and let's say you have a pending asylum claim and you have TPS, when you leave the country, they'll let you leave the country. When you try to come back into the country, they might not let you, right? Because you have a pending asylum claim and you left the country, and that may cancel your situation, right? And so you may not be allowed back in the country, because asylum, you're saying that you're in fear of persecution of your life, and if you go back to the place, so there are consequences to do. So you have to be very careful with advanced parole. If you're, depending on your situation, not everybody's situation. You may hear people may say, oh, my cousin got to go back, and there was no big deal, but your cousin didn't file for asylum. Your cousin wasn't in immigration proceedings, or your cousin didn't, get a DUI, or whatever, So you just have to be very, very careful, and every person's situation is different. So.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I had a discussion with someone about that. Okay, so it's very clear that if you are applying for asylum, you're saying that you are in fear of your life. And so by the fact that you are requesting advance parole to go there, it negates the asylum request. But with TPS, it's technically, I guess, the US government saying that, okay, we are temporarily going to allow you to stay here and work here because we feel that, your home situation is not like livable right now.
Right.
And for you to go and request an advance parole, it's saying otherwise. And I know it's kind of a tough situation, especially people having their family and the loved ones they live there. But then there are some sacrifices that I guess we may have to make to kind of, especially for the people who's fighting for this in the government, so they can justify the need for the temporary protected status.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not saying I'm not going to, and I agree with you 150%. And I think there are going to be situations where there is an emergency. You have a parent that's dying, or got, just some certain, like something like very, very, that's unavoidable, that you have to, go. But you also, they ask for proof, so just keep that in mind too. You have to get yourself prepared for that, and you have to make sure. I would seek guidance with that, because you have to make sure that you don't have other pending immigration matters. You don't have anything open. You don't have anything that will, because you can get approved and get your travel document and try to come back and you can't. So you just have to make sure if your thing is clear. People do it. It's not that people don't do it. People do it. But not everybody's situation is the same.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Well, this has been live in conversation with attorney Daphnée Camilien. My name is Daphnée René Antoine. We come live every Wednesday to share information that might be beneficial to you in respect to your family, your finances, and legal matters. So I have attorney Camillion information below, which is 847-410-9022. That's 847 410-9022. If by any chance you know someone who may need an attorney assistance with helping them file for the TPS, it is like it's something that you may be able to do by yourself. However, we highly suggest that you sit with an attorney, because if you don't know exactly what you are doing, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you jeopardize your chance to be able to live here, to work here without any threat of deportation. So Tony Camilla information is below. If you have any question right now, feel free to type it in the comment. We highly recommend, if you can kindly share this live so that more people can have this information. So Tony Camillion shared earlier that TPS is open. The application is open from August 3rd to February 2022. Am I correct?
Right.
Yeah, August 3rd to February 2022. So definitely get it done as soon as you can. Don't wait the last minute. Get your application
through February 2023.
to February 2023. Awesome,
Right.
awesome.
Yeah, it's 18 months.
Do it. Don't wait. Get your information. Consult with the attorney. Go ahead.
Yeah, and just so people know how important, if this is something you want to do, how you guys have to kind of get on top of it is, remember they took TPS away before, and remember they took DACA away. They reinstated DACA. Biden reinstated DACA, right, as he just reinstated TPS, and a lawsuit has kind of stalled DACA. So for the new people, so you want to get your application in and get approved and be in a position where if TPS is if TPS is stopped, or there's any other lawsuit that comes up about TPS, that if you're in a situation where you're allowed to renew it, if in 18 months the Biden administration determines that Haiti cannot receive people, and so therefore they want to extend TPS. So you want to be in that position. I would just say don't wait until the last minute. I don't know how long they're going to take to process it. I'm hoping it's going to be quickly. So just get it done within the next month or two. gather your paperwork. So
Okay. So for this, I guess last 2 3 minutes, I'm just gonna briefly paraphrase what we just said in Haitian Creole.
okay.
So pou moun kap tan de kounye la, nou dou mersi paske ou vin nan live sa avek nou. Nom se Daphnée René Antoine. Mwen nan a fon konversasyon avek attorney avokat Daphnée Camilien kap pale sou zafè uh, TPS ke President Biden te vin I guess by Haitien ki Etats-Unis akse avek li. So sa depi an me, li te di konsake Haitien ka gen TPS, men se an juye ya la, yo feng bay takou la ki so a bezwen pou ka gen TPS la. So aplikasyon ouver komanse yer ki te 3 out, epi li ouver jiska fevriye 2023. Nou ankouraj yo pou pa jis rete tan, pou pa jis rete tan e pou ke wal fè aplikasyon sa. Si se a son bagay ou vle fè, nou ankouraj yo pou komanse prosesus lan imediatman. An son aplikasyon vreman vre si ke ou gen ou panso ka fèl pou kontou, petèt ou panso ka fèl pou kontou, ale fèl li pou kontou. Men sou panse ke ou ka bezon ti asistans non moun kom avokat Daphnée Camilien, informasyon li an ba, telefon li se 847 410 90 22. 847 410 90 22. Li ka fon konsultasyon avon pou li edo pou konen koman ou ka al rempli aplikasyon sa. Nou ankouraje ou pou share live sa, pou share live sa, pou pataje, nou ankouraje ou pou pataje live sa avek ou moun ki ka bezon informasyon sa, epi ou moun ki ka bezon entre en kontak avek ou avokat pou ede ou avek prosesus sa. Epi nou sot pale tout sou zafè advance parole ki son sort de otorizasyon ke imigrasyon ap ba ou pou petèt sou ta vle al nan peyi yo. Vreman vle pa yon bagay ki mal, me advance parole lan li ka vin gen kek negatif konsekans, paske si ke wap aplike pou asilom. Asilom vle di konsa ke wap di ou di gouvernement ou bezwen rete nan peyi a koz ou per pou la vi ou. Ok, ou pense ou gen problem nan peyi ou ke moun apatako bagay sa yo ou per pou la vi ou. En bien, si wap mande asilom pou sityasyon sa, epi pandan ke wap tan kes asilom wal mande papye pou kal voyaje. Li pa bon, mes amis. Paske aven di konsa ke, ebyen, pou ki so wap mande asilom, lè ki wap mande papye pou al voyaje vizite fami ou. Ok, gen de fwa gen emergency nou ka kompran sa, men fon fèt atensyon avèk jan a fè bagay yo, epi toujou kontakte yon avokat sou pa konen. Pa jis rete pou di, oh, entel te fè tel bagay bon fèl to. Moun sa fè tel bagay bon fèl to. Pa fè bagay yo kon sa paske konsekansan avin pou ou men. Epi men TPS la to. TPS la yo di yo bo proteksyon ke yo pap depote ou sou nan peyi a san papye. Ok? Paske yo di ka peyi yo gen problem, vreman vre, gen pil problem a eti kounye la, ebyen yo di konsa ke tout moun ki te nan peyi ya depi mpase 29 avril, yo ka aplike pou proteksyon sa. Ebyen, si wap aplike pou proteksyon sa, epi apre sa wal mande e papye pou otorize pou voyaje an ala Haiti. Vin konti konflit la. Atounen kamine bazi li imposib, men tout dosyo ap tout fwa sire ke tout dosyo kler. Ok? Si gon emergency vreman vre, fwa gen preuve emergency. Pa jis al fè parol ki ou gen emergency pou ka ale nan peyi an, epi sa ka kozo gen problem apre sa. So, an fèt atensyon, nou la le mekredi pou nou fè ti konversasyon sa yo pou nou ba kek ti informasyon pou nede kominote nou, pou nede Haitien, pou nede tout moun. Nou ankoraj ou a pataje live sa, epi si ou men ou bien moun nou konen, ta bezon avokat pou ede ou avèk prosesus sa, ou ka rentre en kontak avèk Attorney Daphnée Camilien nan 847 410 90 22.
Yep.
Back to you, Attorney Camilien.
Yeah, and that there was only one thing I just wanted to say. You said everything perfectly. I just to reiterate, it's not only if you file for asylum that you're 100% persecution, you're being persecuted file, but you asked to go back to the country. It's the law. Immigration has laws about continuous presence in the country, and going back to that place, you break it. So, like I said, for whatever reason, depending on, you could have asylum on one thing, but you're filing for a TPS and you're asking for the advanced parole because of your TPS. But and you get to leave, right, for whatever reason. But when you try to come back, they won't let you back in the country. So, if you want to do advanced parole, you need to at least talk to somebody to figure out what your situation is 100%, and see if it makes sense for you. To do advanced parole, because there is some risk with that. Even if you're approved, there's some risk. You're on mute.
Awesome. Well, thank you for clarifying that. So yeah, that's about it. And then, so as we are closing, I do wanna shout out our sponsors for this evening. AJP Unlimited. This is my husband's business. So, as we are closing, if you are in need of any services with regard to courier services, my kid is saying hello. I'm just gonna share that with you all. So, if you are appreciative of the information we bring in here, and you want to support me, you want to support Attorney Camilien, obviously I shared her information. And if you are in need of my service or my husband's service, we have a page, AJP Unlimited, where you can shop, buy some nice items if you want. And you can like our page. That support. You can share our page. That support. Buying is not necessarily the only support that we need. So feel free to go to our page, AJP Unlimited LLC. Let us know what you like, and shop with us. And also, if you are in need of any courier or moving services, or maybe you need something delivered, or you are a business who needs to have a company that can service your clients for you, whether you have business to business or business to customer, that's something we can provide as well. So our page is AJP Unlimited LLC. That's where you can shop with us. And if you need our courier services or delivery and moving services, we also have another page, AJP Unlimited LLC Courier and Moving Services. So we're so appreciative of all of you who has joined us live. We appreciate it. Please leave us a comment. Let us know what you appreciate about our show. And any question that you may have in the near future, that's something you want to ask me or Attorney Camilien, let us know. And we are here to serve as much as we can. Anything you want to end with, Attorney Camilien?
No, just if there's any questions, we can answer any questions next week.
Oops. Yeah, definitely. No, keep going.
Yeah, so if there's any questions, it can be answered next week. And so we will get back to you. Obviously, if it's you can contact me, but like if it's a general question, we can answer it next week.
Awesome. Well, thank you for adding that. So any TPS question that you may have, let us know, put it in the comments. And also for those of us in the Evanston, Chicago, North Chicago, anywhere we are in the Chicagoland area, we are inviting you to a back to school picnic that is being organized by the Evanston Haitian Community Festival. It's gonna be on August 28th at Hanover Park in Evanston. So if you are a business and you are interested in being part of that event, you can reach out to Gerald Daye at Facebook. His name is Gerald Daye. Most of us may be familiar with him. I will add the link as well. Come out. I mean, we haven't seen each other in a long time. Come have some fun together. Bring your children. They're gonna distribute back to school supplies. It should be a fun event. For those of you who know, it used to be an annual event, and during 4th of July, obviously with everything going on with COVID, they had to pivot, like many of us had to do, and now it's a back to school bash in August 28th at Evanston, Hanover Park. So that's the last thing I wanted to add. I appreciate all of you for watching, and this has been live in conversation with my name is Daphnée Antoine. I'm an entrepreneur, and with attorney Daphnée Camilien of Camilien Law. That's it from now. I'm ending it, Camilien. You good?
Yep. Bye. Till next Wednesday.
See you next Wednesday. See you next time. Appreciate all of you for watching. Have a great evening. Bye
Good
bye.
night.